Hi guys, good morning. All of you able to hear my voice? Yeah, good. Thanks for your confirmation, guys. Thanks for joining this workshop. Welcome to Ashok IT. Today we are going to discuss about what is this AWS cloud, why we are going to use AWS cloud, and how to deploy our Spring Boot application into AWS cloud that we are going to discuss. This is a workshop. It is going to take 2 to 2.5 hours of time. Got it. Can you see the screen? Please confirm. Can you see the screen? Please confirm. Yeah, good. Let's get started. Yeah. Some of you already know that my name is Ashok and I'm having 9+ years experience as a full stack developer. And currently I'm working as a technical lead and my skill set, Java, Spring Boot, Microservices, front-end Angular, and DevOps, Linux, and AWS. All right, very quick introduction. Yeah, let's move on. As part of this workshop, what is the roadmap? What we are going to learn? We are going to learn what is cloud computing, AWS introduction. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services, and how to create account in the AWS. To use the AWS services, we need to log in into AWS Management Console. For that, we need to create the account. How to create a free tier account in the AWS. That means without paying any money, how can we use the AWS services for free of cost? That we will discuss. Then by using AWS, I'm going to launch one EC2 instance. That means one virtual computer. I will take one computer for the rent from the Amazon with Linux operating system. With Linux operating system, launching EC2 instance using Linux OS. Then I will connect to that EC2 instance by using putty software to execute the Linux commands. Next, in AWS, we have one service called S3 buckets, which is object-based storage. If you want to store unlimited data in the cloud, then you can go for S3 buckets, which is offering by AWS. After that S3 bucket, we will see how to deploy Spring Boot application into EC2 machine. So we will develop several Spring Boot applications in our course now. Now I will deploy that Spring Boot application into EC2 machine so that everybody can access our Spring Boot application. Public access I will enable for my boot application. Once the application is deployed, I will give that URL to you. You can also access the application which is running in the AWS cloud. So this is the agenda for today's workshop. Are you guys comfortable? Are you clear with the agenda of this workshop? Are you clear with the agenda of this workshop? So we are going to discuss what is cloud computing, AWS introduction, free tier account creation, and how to launch EC2 instances using AWS, and how to connect it to that EC2 using putty software, and how to store the data in the cloud, unlimited data by using S3 buckets in the AWS, then how to deploy Spring Boot application into EC2 machine. Is this clear? Is this clear for everyone? All right, let's get started. First of all, let's talk about application infrastructure. Guys, we are developing several applications, right? In the companies, we are developing, several companies are developing several applications. Now, as a developer, we will write the code. Once we write the code, can we give that code directly to the client? Are we going to give the code directly to the client? I developed one Spring Boot application. Can I give that code to the client directly? Can I give the code to the client directly? No. Clients may not understand what is Java. Some clients may be techie guys, but some clients are not technical people. If you give the code to the client, client don't know what to do with that. Client don't know what to do with that. So that's why what we will do is we will set up the infrastructure to run our project. Suppose, for example, if you developed a Spring Boot application, for that Spring Boot application execution, we need one server. And our application wants to communicate with the database. So we need to set up the database servers. We need to set up the application servers. We need to set up the web servers to handle the load. We need to set up the load balancer. So a lot of infrastructure setup is required in order to run our application. Okay, if you just write the code, it doesn't mean that project is completed. Whatever the code you develop, that code should be tested, then that code could be deployed to the servers and should be handed over to the client. For that, after the development, operations will be available. After your development, you will write the code, you will test your code, you will perform unit testing of your code. After your unit testing is completed, code will not be given to the client directly because clients cannot understand the code, whatever we are writing. Clients cannot understand the code that whatever we are writing. So that code we need to manage. We need to perform the operations required to execute that code. That means we need to set up a server. We need to set up a server. We need to keep our project. We need to deploy our project in the server. We need to set up a database. We need to set up a database and we need to establish the connection from our application to the database. If we are getting huge traffic, then we need to set up load balancer for our application. And we need to make sure that network connectivity among these servers. And we need to take care of the configurations which are required. And we need to take care of the performance. We need to take care of the issues. Whenever you set up all this infrastructure, there is a chance of getting some problems. You need to take care of all those problems, then only your application will be up and running. Let me show you a simple example how the projects will be deployed in the real time. Let me show you a simple example how the projects will be deployed in the real time. You developed a project. That project should be deployed to a server. For every project, we will use database to perform our persistent operations. Let me take this. One database server is available. Database server is available. Now we are going to deploy our application to application servers. Our Spring Boot REST APIs we are developing. Our Spring Boot application should be deployed into server. So do you think that applications will be deployed to single server? Do you think that applications will be deployed to single server in the real time? If application is deployed to single server, that application server cannot handle the load. That's why in the real time, we are going to take multiple servers to deploy our application. That is called as load balancing concept. Server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, server 5, like this, server 10 or server 20. Multiple servers will be available to run our application because application may receive huge number of requests. Let's take an example of Amazon.com, Flipkart, Gmail, Naukri, LinkedIn, Google. These are world famous applications. So many people will be using these applications at a time. So that's why our application will be running inside app. Our application will be running in multiple servers. If you can run in one server, but multiple users cannot access the application if it is running in one server at a time. The traffic will be increased, the load will be increased on the server. So that's the reason in the real time, we are going to deploy our application into multiple servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, server 5, and so on. Multiple servers we are going to take. Server 4. Now let me take it as server 10. 10 servers I am using to run my application. The code available in all the servers is same. My project is same. I have created a jar file for my Spring Boot application. Same jar file I'm running in multiple servers. As the code is same, configuration also will be same. So all these applications will be connected to single database server. It is going to connect to single database server. All the data is available in the database. Our applications will be connected. Our application will be connected to that server. The only thing is application not running in one server. Application is running in 10 servers. Okay. Now, can I tell to the people, hey, if you want to use my application, use ashokit1.com, ashokit2.com, ashokit3.com. Can I say that? I have 10 URLs for my applications. Can I say like that? No. If I am running my application in the 10 servers, then every server will have its own IP. Every server will have its own URL. So now here my website URL is here in the server 1. My URL is ashokit1.in, ashokit1.in, and here I can say ashokit2.in. Can I say like this? No, it's not good. That's why what we will do is we are going to set up one more server. We are going to set up one more server, which is called as load balancer. Which is going to set up one more server, which is called as load balancer. We will call it as LBR. Now, all the servers which are connected to, all the servers which are running my application will be connected to load balancer. Load balancer. For end users, I'm going to give the URL of the load balancer. For end users, I'm going to give the URL of the load balancer. End user will use a browser and will access my application URL. That is the LBR URL. That is the LBR URL. He will use one system. From this system, he will use the LBR URL and he will access that LBR. You got my point now. Users are going to access the URL of the LBR. Now you see, this is the URL www.facebook.com. That is the URL of the LBR, www.facebook.com. That is not the actual application URL, guys. You are going to access the URL of the LBR. When you send a request to the LBR, LBR will give the request to a particular server. That server will process your request. Your application is running in one server, or your application is running in multiple servers. Your application is running in multiple servers. LBR stands for load balancer. LBR stands for load balancer, which is used to distribute the load. LBR stands for load balancer, which is used to distribute the load. If 1 crore people are accessing our application, can I send 1 crore request to single server? If I send 1 crore request to the single server, server will die. Server will die because of huge traffic. Server will die because of huge traffic. So to reduce burden on the servers, in the real time, our applications will be deployed to multiple servers, and all the servers will be connected to load balancer, which is used to distribute the load to multiple servers. When you are accessing a Facebook application, you will type www.facebook.com. That is the URL of the load balancer. Your request will go to the load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the load to the servers which are available. First request will go to first server, second request will go to second server, third request will go to third server, and fourth request will go to fourth server, fifth request will go to fifth server. Like this, your request will be distributed to multiple servers. That is the reason so many people are able to access that Facebook application at a time. That is the reason so many people are able to access the Facebook application at a time. How many people will access the Facebook at a time? 1 crore, 2 crores, 3 crores, 10 crores, maybe we don't know. So, but definitely crores of people will be using Facebook application at a time. When crores of people are accessing the Facebook application at a time, how the Facebook application able to handle those requests at a time? The reason is Facebook application is having load balancing setup. Facebook application is having load balancing setup. That means Facebook application is having so many servers. Facebook application is running in multiple servers. All the servers are connected to LBR. All the servers are connected to LBR. When the request comes to the LBR, LBR will distribute the request to the servers which are connected. One request will go to one server. Like that, it is able to distribute the load and it is able to manage so many requests at a time. Are you guys clear with this? How the applications will be running in the real time? Are you guys able to understand how applications will be running in the real time? Yes, applications will be running like this in the real time. Okay, now let's take one example of Flipkart. Let's take one example of Flipkart application infrastructure. Flipkart application infrastructure. Flipkart application is running with the 10 servers, guys. Flipkart application is running with the 10 servers. Okay, so many people are using Flipkart application. Flipkart application, it is an e-commerce application. People are purchasing the products from the Flipkart. www.flipkart.com. www.flipkart.com. People are accessing the Flipkart application. It is running in 10 servers. It is running in 10 servers. Okay, now today Flipkart announced Big Billion Day. 50% offer Big Billion Day today. In the normal days, Flipkart is getting several requests. 10 servers are processing those requests. On the Big Billion Day, traffic will be more or not? On the Big Billion Day, traffic will be more or traffic will be less on the Big Billion Day? Can you guys tell me? Traffic will be more on the Big Billion Days or not? Traffic will be more on the Big Billion Day. So many users will be accessing the Flipkart application because of 50% offer concept. Because of 50% offer concept. For normal days, 10 servers are sufficient. But for Big Billion Day, 10 servers are sufficient or 10 servers are not sufficient? For normal days, 10 servers are sufficient to handle the load. But for the Big Billion Day in the Flipkart, 10 servers are sufficient, 10 servers are not sufficient, 10 servers are not sufficient. Okay, what they have done is, instead of the 10 servers, they have added 20 servers to the load balancer. Instead of the 10 servers, they have added 20 servers. They have added 20 servers to the Big Billion Day. So Flipkart application running in how many servers now? In 20 servers. Flipkart expected that per minute, 1 crore requests. Flipkart expected that per minute 1 crore requests. 1 crore requests. That's why they have set up 20 servers. 1 crore requests will come per minute. That is their expectation. They had a board meeting. They discussed that tomorrow Big Billion Day is available in the Flipkart with the 50% offer. So maybe 1 crore requests will come per minute. 1 crore requests come per minute. So 10 servers are not sufficient. 10 servers are not sufficient. Let's add 10 more servers to the LBR so that our application will be running in the 20 servers. 1 crore requests we can easily handle by using 20 servers. That was the estimation of the Flipkart people. Then they have added 10 servers. So total Flipkart application is running in 20 servers. Flipkart application running in 20 servers. But this is expectation. This is expectation. But reality, 3 crore requests per minute. 3 crore requests are coming per minute to the Flipkart because of 50% offer. So for 1 crore requests, they estimated 20 servers are sufficient, but they are getting 3 crore requests per minute because of the Big Billion Day 50% offer. 50% offer. So to handle 1 crore requests, 20 servers are sufficient. But to handle 3 crore requests, 20 servers are sufficient, 20 servers are not sufficient. Come on, guys. 20 servers are sufficient, 20 servers are not sufficient to handle 3 crore requests per minute. Not sufficient. Not sufficient. For 1 crore, 20. Then what the Flipkart has to do? Flipkart has to purchase another 40 servers. So for 1 crore, 20 servers. Now for 3 crores, they have to make this count as 60. They have to make the count as 60. So how many servers Flipkart company has to purchase now? They have to purchase total 60 servers to run their application. Total 60 servers they need to use to run their application on the big billion day to handle 3 crore requests per minute. 3 crore requests per minute. So Flipkart application running in 20 servers. What about the configuration of these 60 servers? What about the network of these 60 servers? What about the administration of these 60 servers? Everything Flipkart has to taken care. Yes or no? Flipkart is purchasing the servers. That means they are purchasing the computers. They are purchasing the servers. They are setting up the network. They are setting up the power. They are setting up the AC rooms for the servers. They are setting up the security team for the server. They are setting up the administrator to manage the server, to install the server, to restart the server. Lot of maintenance will be available when you are setting up this kind of infrastructure to run your application. Lot of money, lot of time you have to invest if you want to set up this kind of infrastructure to run your application. Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? What is the problem here? Now I'm having Ashok IT, which is started 2 years back. It's a small software training institute. It's a small software training institute. Now we are getting some project requirements also. Some people are asking, hey Ashok, could you please develop one project for our requirement? I'm getting some project requirements also from the people. Could you are training the people, you have the team. Could you please develop my project? I want to start one small restaurant. Can you develop a website for my restaurant? I want to start one small hotel. Can you develop a website for my hotel? Can you develop a project for my school? Can you develop a project for my college? Can you develop a project for my hospital? Like that we are getting requirements. If I want to develop that project, I need to maintain this kind of infrastructure or not? I need to maintain this kind of infrastructure or not? I have to purchase the database servers. I have to purchase the application servers. I have to set up a server room. I have to set up a network for all these systems. I need to recruit the server administrator. I need to recruit the database administrator. I need to recruit the network administrator. I need to recruit the people. I need to purchase the systems. I need to purchase the servers. I need to purchase the current. I need to purchase the ACs. I need to purchase the network. I have to invest a lot of money. I need to invest a lot of money to set up all this infrastructure. Are you guys able to follow this? What is the problem here, guys? Can anyone understand what is the problem here? Cost. Money is the problem. Money is the problem. Minimum to minimum, I have to invest 1 crore rupees to set up this infrastructure. Minimum to minimum 1 crore rupees I have to invest to set up this infrastructure, because I have to take 60 servers to run the project. I have to take the database license, Oracle database I want to use. I want to take the database license. It will be in the crores of rupees. I have to purchase 60 computers and I have to purchase 60 servers. I have to recruit the people also. Okay, I will purchase these things. Okay, I will purchase these things. I need to recruit the people. I'm not good in the networking. I'm a Java developer. I'm not good in the networking. I'm not good with the database administration, DB. I'm not the DBA. Basic queries I can write. But whatever the database backups, database racks, database mounts, database listeners, we are not that much deep into the database, because my profession is programming. My profession is programming. I'm not good at the database administration side. I'm not good at the server administration side. I'm not good at the networking side, because my profession is a programming. Now, to manage all this infrastructure, I need to recruit the people. I need one database administrator. I need server administrator, I need a network administrator, I need current for these systems, I need a network for these systems, internet I have to purchase, and I have to keep all these systems in one room. I have to take one room for the rent. For that room, I have to set up the AC so that systems will be cool. And for that room, I need to recruit one security guard. 24/7 security should be available for that room. Lot of time I have to invest, lot of money I have to invest in order to maintain one application infrastructure. Are you guys able to follow this? Are you guys able to follow this? What is the problem here? We need to purchase systems. We need to purchase the computers, purchase servers, purchase database license, purchase database license, set up application infrastructure, We need to recruit DB admins. We need to recruit server admins. We need to recruit server administrator. We need to recruit network admins. Network administrators are required. For this setup. Apart from these things, what else is required? Guys? Take a room for rent. Set up the power connection. If you take normal power, is it sufficient? Power cut will be available. Can you say to the client, today there is no power in the Amirpet, so your website will not work? Can you tell to client like that? Now, our office available in the Amirpet. I have developed a project. I have set up the infrastructure. Today morning onwards, power is not available. Can you tell to my client, hey client, sorry, today there is no power in the Amirpet, so your project will not work. When power will come, I will let you know, then you can use your project. Can you tell like that to the clients? Power backups are required. Power backup setup, like some generators, UPUs, some generators, UPS that we need to set up. Power backup setup we need to do. AC network setup, internet connection. Can you go with 100 Mbps internet for the servers? Can you go with 100 Mbps internet? No. We need to have high-speed network. We need to have high-speed internet connection. Then after security guard. For server room. Everybody should not allowed into that server room. We need to have a security guard for that server room. Okay, if you want to develop a project, guys, we need to, apart from the development, I'm talking about apart from the development. Is there any development activity involved here? All these things are required after the development. Okay, we need to purchase the computers to run our application, because we cannot run our application in one server. If we run our application in one server, we cannot handle too much load. If 1 crore people are accessing, one server is not sufficient. For 1 crore users, we are using 20 servers. My project is using by 3 crore users at a time. That's why I'm going for 60 servers. So I need to purchase these computers. I need to purchase the 60 computers, purchase the 60 servers. I want to go for application server like a WebLogic and WebSphere. Purchase the servers, purchase the database license. I want to use Oracle database for my project. Then set up the application infrastructure. Now I am a developer. Can I do that setup now? No, I cannot do that setup. I need the database administrators. I need server administrators. I need network administrators to set up the load balancer. To set up the load balancer, I need to keep my computers in one room. For that, I need one room. I need to take care. Can I keep those computers in my bedroom? No, no. We need to have a separate secured room. We need to have a separate secured room to keep all these systems. Take a room for rent. For that room, we need to have a power connection. We cannot rely on the current which is given by our government, because power cuts will happen. If the power cuts happen, then our server will be down, then website will be down. Always we need to have a power backup also with zero downtime. With zero downtime, we need to have a power backup. And for that room, servers are running now. We need to have a high-speed internet connection. Then to secure that, we need to have a security guard for our server room. All these steps you need to take in care if you want to run a project. If you want to run a project. Okay. I have taken all these things, guys. Now assume that I have invested 1 crore. 1 crore rupees I have invested. 1 crore rupees I have invested for this setup. 1 crore rupees I have invested for this setup. I have purchased all this environment. I have developed a project for the client, and client application is running. Client application is running, 3 months completed. Application is running properly. Fourth month, client stopped his business. Client stopped his business. He told that, hey Ashok, I don't want to continue this business. I'm going to foreign. I got the foreign opportunity. I'm going to foreign. In the foreign, I'm going to do my business. I don't need my website now. Let's close our website. I don't want to use this website. I'm stopping my business. Then what will happen? If a client business is closed, then what we need to do? Guys, come on. Just 3 months his website is running. Just 3 months his website is up and running. 4th month he decided to stop his business because he's having some other priority. He's having some other priority. He's moving from India to US. He's closing the business in the India. What about my 1 crore? Pura waste ho gaya na? Can I sell these computers now? I purchased all these things for 1 crore. If I sell these computers, how much I will get? People will call it as second hand. People will call it as second hand. Will I recover my 1 crore? Can I recover my 1 crore? No. If I sell all my systems, rooms and all, maybe people will ask, can you give for 10 lakhs? Can you give for 15 lakhs? Like that. My total money wasted, my total time wasted. My total money wasted, my total time wasted. Okay. So now tell me, is this recommended approach nowadays to set up the infrastructure like this? Is this recommended approach to set up the infrastructure like this for our application? If you get another client, then no problem. If you don't get the another client, if you get another client, you can use the infrastructure for another client project. But if you don't get the another client, then what you will do? Your total infrastructure is no use. You don't have any other client now. You don't have any other client now. Your total money wasted, your total time wasted. So do you want to take this kind of risk to develop and set up the project? Do you want to take this kind of risk? No. Nowadays, nobody is interested to do all these things, guys. Nowadays, nobody is interested to do all these things. To overcome this burden, to overcome this cost, to overcome these problems, we are going to use cloud computing. Are you able to understand why we are going for cloud computing? Whatever the infrastructure you need, whatever the infrastructure you need for your project, you can take for the rent. You need 60 servers, take for rent. Every month you pay the rent for them. That's it. When you want to use it, you use it and you pay the rent. If you don't want, you return it. That's it. It is just like a pay as you go model. It's like a postpaid. If you use it, then you pay it. You pay for it. If you use it, you pay for it on monthly basis. If you don't want to go for the cloud, then you need to take care of all these things for your project. If your client business is running successfully, then you don't have a problem. Let's take a negative scenario. Client stopped his business. You don't have other client. then whatever the money you invested for the infrastructure, it is of no use. Total money wasted, total time wasted. So that is the reason nowadays companies are not interested to set up the infrastructure like this. Nowadays, companies are not interested to set up this kind of infrastructure for a project. Now, if I want to run my project, do I need to set up this infrastructure manually? Do I need to set up this infrastructure manually? If I want to set up this infrastructure, I need to spend 1 crore rupees. I don't have that much money, first thing. Second thing, if I invest also, can I guarantee that a client will stay for next 10 years with me? No, client may leave, client may stay. We cannot guess that. So that is the reason nowadays companies are not interested to purchase and set up the infrastructure for the projects, because money will be wasted and the time will be wasted. That's where cloud computing came into market. Guys, now see here, why cloud computing came into market? Can anyone answer? To provide IT resources over the internet. To provide the IT resources, IT services, infrastructure service, information technology services over the internet, cloud computing came into market. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay as you go pricing. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay as you go pricing. That means whatever the resources you need, here database is one resource for us, 60 servers are the resources, load balancer is a resource. All these resources, they are providing you over the internet. That means you can take the servers, you can take the database, you can take the LBR for rent. That is called cloud computing. Cloud computing is nothing but providing IT resources over the internet with pay as you go pricing. Pay as you go means if you use it, you pay for that. It's like a postpaid bill. So now they will give you a SIM card, postpaid SIM card. You make the phone calls, you use the data. At the month end, they will calculate how much data you have used, how many minutes or seconds you have used for the calling, how many ISD calls, and how many STD calls you have done. Based on that, they will calculate the bill. You have to pay that bill. So that is called pay as you go pricing. This is cloud computing also same thing. They will provide you required resources over the internet with pay as you go pricing. You want 10 servers, you take it, you use it. At the month end, you pay the bill for that. Do you really need to purchase the servers, or you can take the servers for the rent? Do you need to purchase the servers in the cloud computing, or you need to take the things for the rent? You just take the things for the rent. You take the resources for the rent with pay as you go pricing. That is called cloud computing. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery. Whatever you need, they will provide. That is called on-demand delivery. You need a database, you take it. You need a server, you take it. You need the network, take it. Whatever you need for your project, apart from the development, whatever you need for your project, cloud computing will provide you, like servers, storage, database, network, power, everything they are going to provide for you. You just use it for the rent. That is called pay as you go pricing. If I go for cloud computing, do I need to take care of all these things, guys? If I go for cloud computing, do I need to take care of all these things for my project? I don't need them. By using cloud computing, we can avoid all these problems. Able to follow my words? Are you able to follow my words? Yeah. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay as you go pricing. Is this clear? The definition of cloud computing and why we need to go for cloud computing? Are you clear with this one? Are you clear with this one? Are you clear with this one? Yeah. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. Instead of buying, owning, and maintaining physical data centers and servers, you can access technology services such as computing power, storage, and databases on as needed basis. Instead of you are purchasing the servers, you are maintaining the servers, you can use them for the rent. That is called cloud computing. I hope you got the clarity. What is the problem if you don't go for the cloud computing? If you don't go for the cloud computing, you need to set up everything on your own. If you don't go for the cloud computing, you need to set up everything on your own. If you go for cloud computing, they will provide everything for you. You just pay the money. That's it. Now, what are the cloud advantages, guys? What are the cloud advantages? They are guaranteeing the security. They will take a lot of care about the security of your projects. They will take a lot of security. They will guarantee the security for your project. Cost is reduced, mobility, disaster recovery, scalability. So many advantages are there because we are paying the money for them. They are providing the services for us. They will take care of the network. They will take care of the administrator. They will take care of the power. They will take care of the security. Everything will be taken care by cloud providers. Everything will be taken care by cloud providers. If you set up the infrastructure, you have to take care of everything. If you set up the infrastructure, you have to take care of everything. If you go for the cloud computing, they will take care of everything for you. Okay. Now, if you go for cloud computing, we no need to set up all. If you go for cloud computing, they will provide infrastructure for rent. If we go for cloud computing, we can take infrastructure for rent. If we go for cloud computing, we can take infrastructure for rent. There are several cloud providers available in the market. If we go for cloud computing, we can take infrastructure for rent. If we go for cloud computing, we can take infrastructure for rent. There are several cloud providers available in the market. There are several cloud providers available in the market. Can you guess them? Who are the famous cloud providers in the market? One is AWS, another one is Azure, AWS, Azure, GCP, Salesforce, right? There are several cloud providers available in the market like AWS, Azure, GCP, Salesforce, Alibaba, Oracle Cloud. Like that, there are Alibaba Cloud is available, and Oracle Cloud is also available. Etc. There are several cloud providers are available in the market. AWS, Azure, GCP, Salesforce, Alibaba, Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud, PCF Cloud. There are so many cloud providers are available. What are those cloud providers are doing? They are providing services over the internet with the pay-as-you-go model. GCP from the Google, AWS from the Amazon, Azure from the Microsoft, GCP from the Google Cloud. GCP nothing but Google Cloud Platform. AWS from Amazon, Azure from Microsoft, GCP from Google. Okay, there are several cloud providers are available. Cloud providers are providing the services over the internet with pay-as-you-go model. Cloud providers providing services over internet with pay-as-you-go model. That means how much you use, that much you pay, with pay-as-you-go model. That is the model they are going to follow to provide on-demanded services. What they are going to provide? They are going to provide servers, they are going to provide network, they are going to provide storage, they are going to provide security, They are going to provide data backup, computing power, whatever you need for your application, they are going to provide. Servers, network, storage, security, infrastructure, whatever the infrastructure, LBRs, load balancers, whatever you need, that they are going to provide you with pay as you go pricing. Okay. Now, cloud services are divided into three types, guys. Cloud services are divided into three types. One is infrastructure as a service. One is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, which is also called as IaaS. Second one is platform as a service. Second one is platform as a service, that is PaaS, PaaS. And the third one is software as a service. Software as a service, which is called SaaS. Software as a service. These are cloud service models. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and third one is software as a service. How many cloud models are available? How many cloud services are available, guys? There are three types of cloud services are available. The types of cloud computing: infrastructure as a service, platform as service, and software as service. Infrastructure as service, platform as service, software as service. So three models are available in the cloud. Now, guys, if you go for infrastructure as a service, they will provide you servers, network, power. You set up those servers, you set up those configurations to run your application. That is called infrastructure as a server. That means they will give you computer, they will give you database, they will give you computer, they will give you database, they will give you power, they will give you network. You set up the things, you set up the infrastructure. Now, this infrastructure you need to set up. How many servers you want to use? Take those many servers. How many databases you want? Take the databases. Load balancers. You set up your servers with the load balancer. You set up your servers with the database. You set up your infrastructure. They will just give you resources. You take care of the setup which is required for that. Infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. You take servers, database, LBR for rent. You take servers, database, LBR for rent. You set up infrastructure how you want for your application. That is called infrastructure as a service. They will provide you servers, they will provide you database, they will provide you LBR, they will provide for rent. Everything you take for rent. You take servers, you take the machines, servers, database, and LBR for rent. Then you set up your infrastructure how you want for your application. Do you want to take 10 servers? You want to take 20 servers? You want to take 30 servers? How many servers you want to take? You set up that LBR. You do it on your own. It is your responsibility. You will just get the resources from the cloud provider if you go for infrastructure as a service. If you go for infrastructure as a service, they will give you server, you set up the things, you set up your infrastructure, you deploy your application, you manage it. That is infrastructure as a service. The next one is platform as a service. Platform as a service. You just give the code to the cloud provider. You just give application source code to cloud provider. You just give application source code to cloud provider. Cloud provider will prepare environment. Cloud provider will prepare infrastructure for your application. How many servers you want? How many databases you want? What is the network? What is the power? You don't need to bother anything. You just give your source code. Cloud provider will give you a platform to run your application. Servers, database, network, load balancer, everything. will be taken care by cloud provider, which is platform as a service. Platform as a service. That means I will just give my Spring Boot project. Then cloud provider will take a server, will set up a network, will set up a load balancer, will establish the connection. Everything. They will prepare the platform to run our application. You just need to develop your project. That's it. You just need to develop your project. That's it. The remaining infrastructure, whatever is required, whatever the environment you need to run your application, that will be provided by cloud provider. That is called platform as a service. You just need to give the source code. That's it. But here you need to take the servers for rent. You need to take the servers for rent. You need to take the servers for rent. Okay. Here you have to set up the platform. You have to prepare the platform to run. But here platform is ready. Just to give you your code. That's it. You just give you your code. You just give you your code. They will provide the platform to run your application. But here you set up your infrastructure. Then you set up the code, you set up the infrastructure. Now you can say PaaS. PaaS is nothing but IaaS plus project code. That's it. Here you need to do everything. But here you give the code, IaaS is already, infrastructure is already available. They will give you platform to run your application. They will give the platform to run your application. Do you need to bother about servers configuration? Do you need to bother about servers configuration here? In the past? No, no need. No need. And the third one is software as a service. Software as a service. You use the application developed by somebody. Just use the application. Just use the application which is already developed. Just to use the application which is already developed. That is software as a service. Can I say example? Can I say example Google Drive? Google Drive is used to store the data. Did I develop the Google Drive to store the data? Google company developed. But what I am doing? I am paying the money and I am using their application. I am paying the money and I am using their application. This is called software as a service. Salesforce is one of the example for software as a service. Salesforce project already available. You just use it for your requirement. You just use it for your requirement. Platform as a service. You just develop your project, give to them. They will prepare the environment for you. IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. You take the servers, whatever you need. You set up the servers, you set up the database, you set up the storage, you manage your infrastructure which is required for your application. Here, whatever the platform they provide, that platform you need to use. SaaS, software as a service. The project is also already developed. The project is also already developed. You just need to use that project. You just need to use that project. Guys, able to follow me? Cloud models. Types of cloud computing. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Do you need to do anything if you want to go for software as a service? Do you need to do anything if you want to go for software as a service? You no need to do anything. Infrastructure is ready. Project is also ready. Project is also ready. You just use the project. You just use the project which is already developed, like a Dropbox. Like a Dropbox, which is used to store your files. We are using the Dropbox to store our files. We are using the Zoom software I am using to take the online classes. Can I say Zoom is a SaaS? Zoom is a SaaS. Can I say that? Zoom company developed one website to conduct the online classes. I am paying the money for the Zoom to conduct the online classes. I'm paying the money for the Zoom to use their application to conduct online classes. Zoom is one of the example for software as a service. I want to conduct online classes. I need a project. Did I develop this project or I'm using the project which is developed by other company? I am developing the project. I have developed this project or Am I using the project which is developed by someone? I am using the project which is developed by someone to conduct online classes. For that, I am paying the money. That is called software as a service. That is called software as a service. Now, what is this PaaS? What is this PaaS? Platform as a service. Platform as a service. You just develop your application. They will provide the platform for you to run your application. You no need to take care of any infrastructure. Everything they will manage. Everything they will manage. But what about infrastructure as a service? They will provide you whatever you need, you set up it. They will provide whatever you need, you set up it. You set up the infrastructure how you want. So here, customization is possible. Here, customization is possible. Here, customization is not possible. Platform, they are preparing the platform for you. Here, you can prepare the platform. AWS is the one of the best IaaS provider. AWS is one of the best IaaS provider. AWS is famous in the market. AWS is famous in the market for infrastructure as a service. AWS will provide you infrastructure for rent. You set up that and you use it. PaaS. Azure is the one of the example for platform as a service. Azure is one of the example for platform as a service. Nowadays, AWS also providing platform as a service by using Elastic Beanstalk. There is one service in the AWS. If you use that service, AWS also providing platform to run your application that is called Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk service available. We'll come to that later point. Software as a service, example, Salesforce, Google Drive, Zoom, Dropbox, etc. All these things are softwares as service. Softwares as service. PaaS. Azure is going to provide you the platform to run your application. AWS, they will provide you infrastructure to run your application. Now tell me, who will charge more cost? Who will charge more cost, guys? Infrastructure wala or platform wala? Platform wala will charge more cost. PaaS services will be more cost. They will preparing the environment. You can customize, but you have to pay more money for that. So infrastructure is, when you compare PaaS and SaaS, PaaS and IaaS and PaaS, IaaS will be less cost. AWS is cheaper than Azure. Cost-wise, AWS is cheaper than Azure. SaaS means cost, you just need to use the project which they developed. Can you customize in the SaaS? Can you do the customizations in the SaaS? They don't allow. So in the real time, the companies, when the client want to go for the business, companies will go for either IaaS or PaaS. IaaS, AWS is the best example for infrastructure as a service. And IaaS is even providing platform as a service also nowadays by using Elastic Beanstalk. Azure is most famous for platform as a service. Salesforce is the most famous for software as a service. These are the types of cloud computing available in the market. GCP is doing both, guys. GCP is providing both infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. Nowadays, all the clouds are providing all the services. Don't worry about it. Nowadays, all the clouds are providing all the services. PCF, platform as a service. PCF will give you platform to run the application. You just give the code to the PCF, PCF will run your application. Even Azure also nowadays providing infrastructure. AWS is providing platform as infrastructure. So nowadays, all the cloud providers are doing all the things. But which one you want to use, you decide. You want to use AWS for IaaS or PaaS. You want to use Azure for IaaS or PaaS. You want to use GCP for IaaS or PaaS. You decide that. You decide according to your requirement. You decide that according to your requirement. As the price is a little cheap in the AWS, AWS is the market leader now. AWS, most of the clients are using AWS cloud. AWS is the low cost when compared with other cloud providers. Okay, PCF comes under PaaS. PCF comes under PaaS. PCF comes under PaaS. Private Cloud Foundry, which will give you platform to run your application. Which will give you platform to run your application. Okay. Now, note, AWS is well known in the market for infrastructure as a service. In AWS, there is EBS, which will provide PaaS. Nowadays, AWS is providing PaaS also with EBS, that is Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk. AWS is not only for IaaS, guys. AWS is famous for IaaS. AWS is famous for IaaS. But it is along with that, it is providing platform also, that is called EBS, Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk. Now, do you understand what is cloud computing and how many types of cloud computing are available? Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay. Amazon Web Services. What is Amazon Web Services? In 2006, Amazon Web Services began offering IT infrastructure services to business as web services, now commonly known as cloud computing. This AWS started in the year of 2006 only, guys. From the 2006 onwards, Amazon company providing services over the internet. That's why it is called as Amazon Web Services. Do you want a database? Amazon will provide you with internet. Through internet, Amazon Web Service. Amazon providing some services over the internet. Those are called as Amazon Web Services, which is also called as AWS. In 2006 only, Amazon company offered IT infrastructure services to business as a web service. Now we are calling it as cloud computing. Cloud computing. AWS started in the year of 2006 only. Today, AWS provides a highly reliable, scalable, low-cost infrastructure platform in the cloud that powers hundreds of thousands of businesses in the 190 countries across the world. In the globe, in 190 countries, people are using AWS cloud, Amazon Web Services, to set up the infrastructure which is required for their applications. Almost in 190 countries, people are using Amazon Web Services to set up the infrastructure which is required for their applications. Amazon is famous for what, guys? Infrastructure as a service. Amazon is one of the cloud provider available in the market. Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google GCP, like that there are several cloud providers are available in the market. Amazon is the market leader. Amazon started providing the IT infrastructure from 2006 only over the web. It is called as Amazon Web Services. Across the globe, in 190 countries, people are using Amazon Web Services because it is a highly reliable, scalable, low-cost infrastructure platform in the cloud. Okay. Now, okay, let's start working with Amazon now. Let's start working with Amazon Web Services. I want to deploy my Spring Boot application to Amazon Web Services. I want to deploy my Spring Boot application to Amazon Web Services. All right, guys. Let me show you one simple REST API which I have, guys. Let me run this REST API. Run as Spring Boot application, which is a Spring Boot application which I have developed in my 13 SBMS class. 29th application I'm running, Spring Boot REST API. I'm running my project. It is going to run in the embedded Tomcat server with 9090 port number. Where my application is running? My application is running in my IDE. That means it is my local system. It's my local system. Can you access my application now? Can you access my application now? You cannot access because it is running in my local system. 9090/welcome. Sorry, localhost : 9090/welcome. welcome. Welcome to Ashok IT. When you access this application, it is giving one message. Welcome to Ashok IT. This is my Spring Boot application. Inside that, I have one REST controller. Inside this, I have one REST controller. Welcome REST controller. @REST controller. Get request method / welcome is the URL. It is returning a welcome message. The Spring Boot application running in the embedded Tomcat server, which is having a port number 9090. Default port number 8080, but I have changed it to 9090 because in my computer, Oracle database already running with 8080. That's why Apache Tomcat I am running on 9090, which is embedded container for the Spring Boot. Are you guys comfortable with my REST API? Are you guys comfortable with my REST API? Yeah, here I am going to give as good afternoon. There is another endpoint greet. Two endpoints are there. One is welcome, another one is the greet. One is welcome, another one is the greet. We can send a request to this REST API. We can access. Currently, where this application is running? Currently, where this application is running? Can I say that it is running in my local system? Can I say that it is running in my local system? Can you access this URL? If I give this URL, can you access this URL? You cannot, because it is running only in my system. It is my local. Now, I want to deploy this application into AWS, guys. I want to do this application deployment into AWS. Can we do that deployment now? Can I run my project in the AWS so that you guys can access my application? Can I do the deployment now? Okay. Guys, observe, next 20 minutes is very important. I'm going to do the practical. Next 20 minutes is very important. I'm going to do the practical now. The main agenda of this workshop, how to deploy the Spring Boot application into AWS cloud. The actual practical concept starting now. So before going to do that, we understood some theory points. We understood some theoretical points. What we have studied as of now? What is application infrastructure? What is application infrastructure? What are the problems if we set up infrastructure on our own? What are the challenges? What are the challenges to set up infra on our own? What is cloud computing? What is cloud computing? Cloud computing advantages. What is cloud computing and what are the advantages of cloud computing? Okay, cloud providers in the market. Cloud providers in the market. Types of cloud computing. Types of cloud computing. What is AWS? Did I cover all these topics now? Guys, did I cover all these topics now? Theoretically, we have learned all these topics now. What is application infrastructure? We need to set up the database. We need to set up the servers. We need to set up the load balancer to run our application. Are we going to run the application in one server in the real time? Are we going to run the application in one server in the real time? No, we are not going to run the application in one server because one server cannot handle the load. 1 second, guys. Yeah. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Are we going to run the application in one server or we are not going to run the application in one server? Are we going to run the application in one server or we are not going to run the application in one server? We are not going to run the application in one server. We are not going to run the application in one server. We are going to set up LBR. We are going to set up the LBR. What are the problems if you set up the LBR? Adding the more servers, removing the servers, adding the servers, so set up the network, set up the server room, set up the administrators. Managing the things are very difficult and it requires a lot of money, it requires a lot of time. lot of manual work we have to do. There are so many challenges are involved. If you want to manage that infrastructure on your own, you need to purchase computers, you need to purchase servers, you need to purchase a database, you need to purchase power backup, network, one room, ACs, security guard, network, lot of things you need to take care. Lot of things you need to take care if you want to set up the infrastructure on your own. To overcome that infrastructure management, we are going for cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is nothing but providing IT resources over the internet. Somebody is providing the resources for you. Somebody will provide the service for you. You just pay the money for them. Whatever the infrastructure you need, that cloud provider will take care. Cloud computing is nothing but providing the IT infrastructure over the internet with pay as you go pricing. Okay, what are the cloud advantages? You no need to bother about anything. Security, infrastructure, configuration, power, room, AC, security guard, network, everything they will take care. Everything they will take care. Okay, you just pay the money, you use the service. That's it. Now, who are the cloud providers available in the market? Who are the cloud providers available in the market? AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, Salesforce Cloud. Like that, there are so many cloud platforms are available in the market. Out of all these, AWS is the market leader. AWS started in the year of 2006 only. From the 2006 onwards, Amazon company providing the IT resources over the internet, which is also called as Amazon Web Services. Okay, what are the types of cloud computing available? Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Infrastructure as a service means they will provide you everything. You prepare the infrastructure, you set up the things on your own how you want, you can customize how you want. Platform as a service means you just give the application code, they will prepare the platform to run your application. If you go for software as a service, platform is ready, infrastructure is ready, code is also ready. You just use the project which is developed by somebody. You just use the project which is developed by somebody. That is called software as a service. That is called software as a service. Guys, you understand what we discussed as of now? You understand what we discussed as of now? Okay. So what is the next step now? The crucial part of this workshop. What is the main agenda of this workshop? What is the main agenda of this workshop? Deploying our application to AWS cloud. Deploying our Spring Boot application to AWS cloud. Guys, you don't worry. I have prepared some notes for you. I have prepared some notes for you. If you just follow the notes, you can do that setup on your own. AWS deployment. I prepared the notes for you. I think there are almost 18 steps are available. If you follow these 18 steps now, then you can also deploy your Spring Boot application into AWS cloud. Okay, can we follow these steps and can we do the deployment now? Where we are going to deploy? In which cloud platform we are going to deploy? AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. AWS is famous for what? AWS is famous for what? What type of cloud AWS is providing? Infrastructure as a service. What is the meaning of infrastructure as a service? They will provide you everything which is required for your project. You configure the things, based on that, you can deploy your applications. Okay. From which year AWS providing the services? From which year AWS providing the services? From 2006 onwards, AWS is providing the services. These are called as Amazon Web Services. They are called as Amazon Web Services. Are you guys clear with this? Yeah, guys, and a small announcement. We are starting new batches from tomorrow. If you want to attend DevOps with AWS, that I'm going to take from tomorrow at 7 p.m. IST, Zoom link available here. In that I will cover Linux, I will cover AWS completely, and I will explain the DevOps. And next 23rd March, from Wednesday at 9 a.m. Java real-time project is going to start. That project is based on Spring Boot, Microservices, AWS, and Angular. Complete real-time project we are going to develop in the JRTP, Java real-time project training. You can see the training schedule in this. Java real-time project is starting from 23rd March at 9 a.m. IST. And DevOps with AWS is getting started. DevOps with AWS is getting started from 21st March at 7 p.m. IST. You got it? DevOps with AWS starting from 21st March at 7 p.m. IST. Java real-time project is getting started from 23rd March at 9 a.m. IST. So if you are interested to attend the demo sessions, I have given the Zoom link in the chat box. You can register for the demo and you can attend the demo session. Okay? Yeah. I have given the link in the chat. For DevOps, there is a registration link, enroll now option is there. For Java real-time project also, link is available. Okay. Good. Fine. Let's get started with our work now. I want to deploy my boot application into Spring Boot application into AWS. All right, guys. In order to start with, first I want to tell you two services in the AWS. One is called as Elastic Compute Cloud, and the second one is called as S3 bucket. So today I'm going to use Elastic Compute Cloud service and S3 bucket. Okay, Elastic Compute Cloud. Now, if I want to deploy my Spring Boot application into AWS Cloud, I should know about EC2 and S3. By using EC2 and S3, I am going to deploy my Spring Boot application into AWS. Okay, by using this EC2 and S3, I'm going to deploy our Spring Boot application into AWS. Can you read what is EC2? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a part of Amazon.com's cloud computing platform. Amazon Web Services allow the users to rent virtual computers on which to run their own computer applications. That means I want a computer from the Amazon. I want to take a computer for rent from the Amazon. If you want to take a computer for the rent from the Amazon, you will go for EC2 in the Amazon. EC2 is the service in the Amazon which will provide you computers for the rent. EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. By using this EC2, I will take one computer for the rent to run my Java application, to run my Spring Boot application. Okay, guys. And the next one is S3 bucket. S3 bucket, nothing but simple storage service in the AWS. S3 is used to store the data. Unlimited data you can store in the S3 bucket. Unlimited data you can store in the S3 bucket. For storage, they will charge the amount. But now we are going to use a free tier account. For a free tier account, for 1 year, they will give you 5 GB data for free of cost. You can store 5 GB of data in the AWS for free of cost for 1 year. 5 GB data you can store in the AWS S3 for free of cost for 1 year. After 1 year completed, they will charge money every month. S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service, object storage built to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere. Any amount of data from anywhere. Okay, right. S3, Simple Storage Service, which is used to unlimited data from anywhere. Okay, EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, which is used to take the computers for the rent. Okay, now here I have shown you in the application infrastructures, I have taken 10 servers. 10 servers, nothing but 10 instances, 10 EC2 instances we are going to create. 60 servers means 60 EC2 instances we are going to create. One server means one EC2 instance. One server means one EC2 instance. Okay? Chalo. So you understand what is EC2 and what is S3, right? I'm going to deploy Spring Boot application in the AWS using EC2 and S3. Deploy Spring Boot application into AWS cloud using EC2 and S3. Okay, S3 stands for simple storage service. S3 stands for simple storage service. It is used to store unlimited data. For free tier accounts, 5 GB free for first year. Okay, 5 GB free for first year. 5 GB space is free for 1 year. Okay, we are going to use that free space now. I will store my Java application jar file, boot application jar file into S3 bucket. Okay, next one, EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Using this, we can take systems for rent. Now, what I will do, guys, I'm going to use S3 bucket. In this S3 bucket, my Spring Boot application jar file I am going to store. S3 for storage purpose now. Now using AWS S3, I will store my jar file. Now here I'm going to take one EC2 machine with Linux OS. I'm going to take the EC2 instance, one EC2 VM virtual computer, EC2 VM Linux, EC2 Linux VM. I'm going to take one Linux computer for rent. EC2 Linux VM I'm going to take. In this VM, I am going to download this jar, and run the jar. Okay, what I will do is first install Java, download jar from S3, download jar, run jar. These are the steps I am going to perform now. Download boot jar, boot application jar, download our application jar file. These are the things that I am going to do by using one software called Putty. I'm going to perform all these operations. This is your trainer Ashok. ठीक है, ये मेरा नाम है भाई. अभी मैं क्या कर रहा हूं? I'm going to take AWS. Okay, in that AWS, I'm going to use S3. In that S3, I'm going to store my Spring Boot application jar file. Then I'm going to create EC2 instance. In that EC2 instance, I will install the Java. I will download the jar file from the S3. I will run that jar file. That is my Spring Boot application jar file. By using Putty, I will perform all these operations. From my computer, I will connect to Putty. From the Putty, I will connect to EC2. In the EC2, I will install the Java software. I will download the jar file available in the S3 and I will run that jar file. This is what we are going to do now. All right. These things are available in AWS cloud. This is AWS cloud. Tomorrow, these activities will be done by DevOps engineers in the company. But nowadays, for the developers also, they are asking how to deploy your application in the cloud platform, where your application is running, how the deployments will happen in the cloud. This cloud computing became mandatory for every software engineer nowadays. Understand, guys? This cloud computing became mandatory for every software engineer. So do you think that companies will maintain the infrastructure manually in the future? Companies will maintain the infrastructure manually in the future? Do you think that companies will maintain the cloud computing? Companies will maintain infrastructure manually? The future of the IT is cloud computing only. You have to know at least one cloud technology. either AWS or Azure or GCP. Otherwise, you cannot survive in the company as a software engineer. Every company is moving to cloud computing, guys, because they don't want to purchase all the infrastructure. They don't want to set up all the infrastructure. They want to use the infrastructure for rent. They want to use the infrastructure for rent. So every company is moving to cloud computing. So as a developer, if you are a developer, or if you are a operational team, or if you are an administrator, definitely you should know cloud computing. The future of the IT, is cloud computing only. The future of the IT is a cloud computing only. Are you guys able to understand? Are you guys able to understand why we are learning this cloud? What is the importance of this cloud? Are you able to understand the importance of the cloud? So definitely you should know one cloud technology, guys, whether you are a programmer, whether you are an administrator, whatever it is. If you are a software engineer, or if you want to become a software engineer, then you have to learn at least one cloud platform like AWS, Azure, or GCP, anything. Chalo. Now you understand what I am going to do now? You understand what is our practical thing now? What practical you are going to do? We are going to use AWS cloud. What are the services we are using in the AWS now? What are the services we are going to use in the AWS now? S3 and EC2. What is the purpose of S3? What is the purpose of S3? What is the purpose of S3? S3 is used for storage purpose. What is the purpose of EC2? To create the virtual computers, to take the computers for rent. To take the computers for rent, we will go for EC2. S3, unlimited storage. S3, unlimited storage. What is the purpose of Putty? What is the purpose of Putty? To connect with the virtual machine. To connect with the virtual machine. I'm sitting in Hyderabad. Where is my Linux machine? In the AWS cloud. How can I connect to that Linux machine? I need to install the Java software in the Linux. I have to download the jar file from the S3 bucket to EC2, and I have to run my jar file in the Linux machine. The Linux machine is available somewhere in the AWS. I have to connect it to that Linux machine, and I want to perform my operations. For that purpose, I am going to use Putty software. For that purpose, I am going to use Putty software. Shall we start now? Shall we start now? Come on, guys. Yeah. First, if you want to use the AWS, you need to use account in the AWS, guys. It is free of cost. It's a free of cost. You need to create an account in the AWS. You need to create an account in the AWS. I have prepared a document also. What are the steps that you need to take care to create the account in the AWS? AWS account creation PDF I have prepared. I will share that PDF with you. I will share the PDF with you after this class is completed. You see this? Can you see the document? How to create the AWS account? What are the steps you need to take care to create the AWS account? Can you see the screenshots? I prepared this document. Can you see this? Huh. You need to go to that website. You need to click on that button. You need to provide your details. You need to provide your information, provide your credit card or debit card information. Then create the account. Create the account. If you give the credit card or debit card, no problem, guys. They are not going to charge any amount from you. It is free. It is free. They are not going to charge any amount. They will charge only 2 rupees, and again they will send the 2 rupees. That is just for your card verification purpose. Just for your card verification purpose, they are going to ask your card information, but they are not going to deduct any amount without informing you. AWS will not deduct any amount from your card without informing you. Without informing you. First, they will charge 2 rupees only for your account verification. Once your account is verified successfully, they are going to provide you. They are going to provide you the 2 rupees back to your account. They are going to provide the 2 rupees back to your account. I will share this document with you. Happily, you can create the account in the AWS by using your credit card or a debit card. Once your account is created, you log in into your account. Now, I'm logging into my account. Right. I'm a root user. select this root user email ID, whatever the email you use to create the account, select it. Next, CAPTCHA. Let's enter this CAPTCHA. RHTWZ6. CAPTCHA. Yeah, CAPTCHA is correct. Asking the password. I entered my password. Now I am signing into AWS Management Console. AWS Management Console. This is my AWS account dashboard. AWS account dashboard. You see, currently I have connected to Mumbai region in the AWS. Currently I connected to Mumbai region in the AWS. Guys, due to time constraint, I'm not explaining what is region. In the AWS course, DevOps with AWS is starting now. In that, I'm going to explain you what is the AWS region, AWS availability zone, data centers. I will discuss in the AWS part. But here, I'm going to show you the deployment part because it's a workshop, 2 hours, 2.5 hours only. So I can't cover everything in the AWS. I hope you can understand that. Chalo. Okay, I'm able to log in into my AWS account. Here, there is an option called services, guys. Can you see the services here? What are the services available? EC2, S3. EC2 available, S3 service available. What is the purpose of S3? Scalable storage in the cloud. EC2, virtual servers in the cloud. EC2 available, S3 is available. You go to services which you want use. Now, first I want to use EC2, guys. Or first you want me to go to EC2 or S3? S3 means just uploading a jar file. That's it. Uploading a jar file, just that's it. So which one you want me to do first? Can we upload the jar file first? Can we upload the jar file first? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do S3 first. Let's do S3 first. Amazon S3, simple storage service. Amazon is a simple storage service. In the Amazon, I'm going to create one S3 bucket. By using S3 service, I will create S3 bucket and I will upload my jar file into S3 bucket. Create a bucket. Guys, observe carefully the steps. Bucket name, Spring Boot REST API bucket. Spring Boot bucket. Let me take it as Spring Boot bucket. Any name you can give, which should be unique, guys. Spring Boot bucket I'm taking. And object ownership, I'm giving ACLs enabled. Everything I have mentioned in the document. You don't need to worry. How to upload this bucket to the, how to upload the jar file, how to create the bucket. Everything I have documented here, guys. Everything I have documented. Select enter bucket name. Select object ownership as ACL enabled. I have mentioned that ACL enabled, and uncheck this checkbox. Uncheck this checkbox. Uncheck this checkbox. Accept the license agreement. Now see here, I'm entering the bucket name as Spring Boot bucket. ACL enabled object ownership. I want to make the jar as a public. ACL enabled I have taken, and I'm unchecking this checkbox, accepting the license agreement, and create bucket. Create bucket. Same name already exists. Spring Boot, my Spring Boot bucket. Let me give a unique name for this. That name is also available. Give 1T. My Spring Boot bucket, double T. Okay. Create bucket. Fine. One bucket is created, guys. I have created one bucket in the AWS. Now select this bucket. Select this bucket. Select this bucket. Inside this bucket, do you have any object now? Inside this bucket, do you have any object? It is an empty bucket. How much data I can store for free? 5 GB data I can store for free. Is there anything available in my bucket now? Is there anything available in my bucket now? No, I don't have anything in my bucket. I don't have anything in my bucket. Upload. Click on upload. Upload. Add the file. I have a jar file for my application, guys. I will give you that jar. I have created a jar file for my project. I have created jar file for my project. Yeah, jar Spring Boot REST API.jar. I'm uploading this jar file. Select this jar. Select this jar. Permissions. grant public read access. Grant public read access. Why I am giving public read access? Anybody can access my jar file. I'm just uploading a file, a jar file. I'm selecting the jar file name. Then I am choosing preferred ACL, private or public. I'm giving public. That means anybody can access my jar file. Click on upload. Click on upload. That jar file will be uploaded into S3 bucket. That jar file is a Spring Boot application jar file. Now my jar is uploaded successfully. Close, close, select this, copy URL. I'm giving the URL, you check it, you access it. Can you access that URL, guys? You will download that jar. You can get that jar file. You can get that jar file. Are you able to click on that URL? Are you able to click on that URL? Is it downloading? Is it downloading? Yes, you can use the same jar file now. You can use the same jar file now. I have uploaded my jar file into S3 bucket. With that URL, you are able to download that jar. Same jar you can use, you can upload to your S3 bucket. Same jar you can use, you can upload to your S3 bucket. With this, it is completed, guys. Once this S3 bucket created, jar is uploaded, copy this URL. Let me store this URL, guys. Let me store this URL for my future use. I want to download the jar file now. This is the URL of my jar file. This is the URL of the jar file. Jar file URL. Keep it. I will use this jar file and I'm going to download this jar file in the EC2 machine. Now I will create a EC2 machine. In that EC2 machine, I will download the jar which is available in my S3 bucket. So do you understand how to upload a jar file to S3? Do you understand how to upload a jar file to S3? Yes. Yes, we are able to upload the jar file to S3 with the public access. Now the real cinema starts. Now the real cinema starts. We need to create one Linux computer, guys. Observe carefully what I am doing here. Every step is important, guys. Every step is important now. I'm going to create one virtual computer. I'm going to create one virtual computer in the AWS. That is a Linux machine. Observe carefully, every step is important. I'm going to EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, which is used to take the computers for the rent. Launch instance. I'm selecting launch instance. Launch instance. It is asking choose AMI. What kind of machine you want, boys? In the Amazon, there are so many types of computers are available. What kind of a machine you want? I'm going to choose Amazon Linux. Linux machine I am going to take. Select it. Select it. Once I have selected, it is asking what type. I want a free machine. Free tier eligible. T2 micro. It is free tier eligible. I'm selecting T2.micro. Then don't click on the review and launch directly. T2 micro. Next, configure instance details. Configure instance details. How many machines you want? Do you want one machine or you want 10 machines? You want 60 machines? How many machines you want? You need to give that number. Number of instances you want. I want to take only one instance. Then next, add storage. How much GB of data you want to store? How much space you want? By default for the Linux, it is giving 8 GB. It is giving by default 8 GB. Okay. Next, add the tags. It's optional. If you want to add, you can add it or else leave it. The next one is configure security group. That is very important. Are you guys able to understand the steps or you want to come from starting again? Let's come from the starting again. Okay, go to instances. Go to instances. One instance already available. I want to create the new instance. EC2 dashboard. Launch instance. Observe now. Observe now. Launch instance. Choose the AMI. Amazon Linux. Select it. T2 micro. Free tier eligible. For 12 months, it is free. 750 hours you can use in the 1 year. So monthly, 750 hours it is free. 12 months, 12 into 750 hours you can use that EC2 machine for free of cost. Configure instance details. I want only one instance. That means I want only one EC2 machine. Number of instances is 1. Add storage. By default 8 GB. I'm not changing anything. Add tags. I'm not adding any tag. Configure security group. Here you have to understand. Now I want to connect to this EC2 instance by using putty. To connect to the EC2 instance by using putty, it should have SSH port, guys. It should have SSH port. SSH port number is 22. If SSH port is available for this EC2, then only I can connect to this machine by using putty. So that's why I'm adding SSH port with the 22 number as a port range. Along with this, my application is running on the port number 9090. My Spring Boot application running on what port number? 9090. Any request comes with 9090 port, I want to allow that request. Add the rule, custom TCP, port range is the 9090. Port range is the 9090. So now, you see, can you take a screenshot of this, guys? Take a screenshot of this. Most of the people will get confused here. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. What are the security groups I'm adding? How many? What in the security group? How many protocols I'm adding? How many protocols I'm adding, guys? 2 protocols I'm adding. One is SSH protocol. Another one is custom TCP. SSH protocol is open on the port range 22. Custom TCP open on the port number 9090. This TCP, SSH TCP port is used to connect to this EC2 from the putty. Putty will use SSH protocol to connect. Putty will use SSH protocol to connect. Now, here I am going to use a browser. I'm going to use a browser to access my Spring Boot application, which is running in the EC2. I'm going to use a browser. I'm a user now. I'm a user. I will use the browser. From the browser, I want to access this EC2. From the browser, I want to access this EC2. So what is the port number? Application running on the port number 9090. For that, I am opening custom TCP port. I'm opening custom TCP port with 9090. 2 ports I am opening. One port is used for putty connectivity. Another port is used for the browser connectivity. You understand my diagram? You understand my diagram? Guys, you understand my diagram? How many ports I am opening in the security group? 2 ports I am opening in the security group. One port is for putty connectivity. Another port is for the browser connectivity. Putty port will be 22. Browser port will be 9090. 2 ports I am opening in the security group. If you want to take a screenshot, if you want to do this configuration, take a screenshot so that you can configure that correctly. Done with the screenshot? Done with the screenshot? Please confirm so that I can move to the next screen. Done na? Chalo. Next, review and launch. Whatever you have selected, it is going to show you everything here. Whatever you have selected, it is going to show you everything. Just review. Just review those details. Click on launch. Here it is important. Here it is important. Can anybody access my EC2? Anybody can access my EC2 machine now? No, people cannot access my EC2. There is a security. There is a security. Create a new key pair. I'm choosing the option called create new key pair. I'm giving the name as AWS workshop key pair. AWS workshop key pair. Choose create a new key pair. AWS workshop key pair. I'm giving the name as a RSA key pair. Select this. Take this screenshot also, guys. Take this screenshot also. This key pair is used for security purpose. You read it. A key pair consists of a public key that AWS stores and a private key file that you store. So key pair consists of public key and private key. That means for this EC2 instance, one public key will be available. One public key will be available. That AWS is going to store that public key. AWS will store public key. What is that public key? For security purpose. For our EC2, one public key is available. For the EC2 instance, one public key is available. It will give you one private key. It will give you one private key. That is for security. When you want to connect to the EC2, you give the private key. You give the private key. That private key will be compared with the public key. Then only connection will be established. You will save the private key. EC2 will maintain the public key. If you send the private key will be compared with the public key. If the both are matching, then only it will allow you to connect to that EC2. Everybody cannot connect to my EC2 until unless they have this private key. Okay, that is what I'm asking to create a new key pair. AWS workshop key pair, download key pair. Wow, key pair is downloaded. I have downloaded that key pair, guys. That is a PEM file. Okay, now launch instance. Launch instance. Finally, my EC2 machine launched. I have started one Linux machine in the AWS cloud. Go to that EC2 machine now. Go to the EC2 machine now. It is still getting started. There is no name for it. Let's add this name. AWS workshop VM. This VM I have launched for our workshop purpose. AWS workshop VM. Okay. My workshop VM is running or not? My workshop VM is running. There is a IP, public IP. Public IP is also available. Now, in this Linux machine, I want to install the Java. I want to download the jar file from the S3 and I want to run that jar file. Are you guys able to understand? So what I have done as of now, I have just created my EC2 machine and I have downloaded key pair. How the key pair is downloaded? Key pair downloaded in the PEM format. Let me save that key pair. Go to 13 SBMS folder. Key pair. Key pair, guys. What is the key pair format available? PEM file. Key pair format is a PEM file. If you want to connect to the EC2 using putty, PEM file is not supported. We need to convert into PPK file. Let's go to putty gen software. You have to download the putty, guys. Open putty gen software. It is already installed in my system. File, load the private key, which is my 13 SBMS folder. Key pair, all files, select all files. Load this, select all files, select this PEM file. Select this PEM file, save private key. I have uploaded the PEM file and I want to save the private key. Yes, save the private key. What is this? Same name I am giving, AWS workshop key pair. AWS workshop key pair. It will be saved with .ppk extension. Okay, now close it. Can you see? I have converted that PPK file to, I have converted that PEM file to PPK file. Using that PPK file, now I will connect to my EC2. I will connect to EC2 by using PPK. Guys, are you able to understand what I have done? Are you able to understand what I have done? I have downloaded the PEM file. PEM file I have converted to PPK file by using putty gen software. Why the PPK? PPK file is required to connect to the EC2 by using putty. Got my point? Right. Simple. I have downloaded, I am giving the steps here. Download the putty software, convert PEM file to PPK file using putty gen software. Using putty gen software. Okay, good. Good. Once it is converted, let's open our putty software. Let's open our putty software. For the putty software, I need to provide the IP of the Linux machine. My Linux machine is having some IP. Guys, see here. Select this machine now. AWS workshop VM. When you, guys, 1 second, let me have some water. Yeah, good. Now I have connected, I have selected this EC2 machine. It is giving me public IP. Copy this IP. See here, there is a copy icon. Copy this IP. Go to putty. Go to putty. Give the IP address. Give the IP address. Select the SSH. Select the auth. Browse. Upload that PPK file which we have converted. Key pair. PPK file. I have selected. Appearance. Let me change the font. Let me change the font. Okay. Click on open. Accept. My EC2 machine username is EC2-user. EC2-user. I have connected to my Linux machine now. What is the username? EC2 user. EC2 user. Where you can find the username of that? Where you can find the username of that? If you click on connector, it will give you all the details here. You can connect to that EC2. You can connect to that EC2 machine by using putty software. By using putty software. I have downloaded the putty and I used putty gen. I converted PEM file to PPK file. Convert PEM file to PPK. Convert the PEM file to PPK file using putty gen software. Then connect to EC2 using putty software. Okay. I have connected to that EC2 by using putty. Username EC2 user. Now ls-l command. Can you check Java version? Can you check the Java version? Java available in the Linux machine? Java not available in the Linux machine? Java is available or Java is not available? Java is not available. I want to install the Java in the Linux machine. In order to install the Java in the Linux machine, you need to convert it to sudo user, super user. You need to convert it to super user. These are the commands, guys. Switch user to super user by using sudo su, super user. This is the command to install the Java in the Linux, and this is the command to check the Java version. Okay, let me execute sudo su, switch user, super user, right? Let's install Java by using this command. Java 1.8 I'm installing. Yum install Java 1.8. I want to install. Let's enter. It's downloading. Do you want, is this okay? Yes. Now Java is installed into our EC2 machine, because in order to run the jar file, we need to have the Java software in our machine. We need to have the Java software in our machine. Installation completed successfully. Java version. Check the version of the Java. Java-v. No. Java-version. Yeah. Java-version. Which version of the Java is installed in our machine? Which version of the Java is installed in our machine? JDK 1.8. JDK 1.8. Okay, very good. Java is ready. ls-l. ls-l is used to list the files. Do you have any files in this folder now? In the EC2 user folder, do you have any files? We don't have any files. Now, let's download the jar file from the S3. To download the jar file from the S3, we will use wget command. We will use wget command. This is the path of the jar file. This is the path of the jar file. Wget is used to download that jar. I have downloaded that jar. ls-l. Can you see jar file is downloaded to EC2? Can you see jar file is downloaded to EC2? What is the command I have used to download the jar file to the EC2? wget. This is the command. Wget and path of the jar file. URL of the jar file. I have downloaded. Once the jar file is downloaded, how to execute that jar file? Do you know the command to execute the jar file? Do you know the command to execute the jar file? What is the command to execute the jar file? Java space -jar space jar file name. Java space -jar space jar file name. Can you see my Spring Boot application running in the Linux machine with the port number 9090? Can you see my Spring Boot application running in the Linux machine with the 9090 port number? Yes or no? Let's try to access this application now. Use this IP address. Go to browser :9090/welcome. Am I able to access my application which is running in the AWS cloud? You can also access it. Try this URL. Try that URL. Are you able to access my REST API which is running in the AWS cloud? What are the services I have used to deploy my application to AWS cloud? I have used EC2 service and S3 service. S3 service I use it to upload my jar file. S3 is just storage. EC2, by using EC2, I am creating Linux computer. I am creating a Linux machine by using EC2 service. Okay, now can you see the work that we have done in the diagram? First, I have created S3 bucket. In that S3 bucket, I have uploaded my jar file. I have created a S3 bucket. In the S3 bucket, I have uploaded my jar file. Then I have created an EC2. I have created a EC2. That EC2 gave me key pair. EC2 will maintain a public key. It gave me private key. Private key in the form of PEM file. That PEM file I converted to PPK file. By using putty, I connected to EC2. Once I connected to EC2 by using putty, I installed Java in that Linux machine. I have downloaded the jar file from the S3 bucket. I have started that jar file by using the Java command. Once the jar file started, then I'm able to access my application from browser, which is running in the AWS cloud. Not only me, anybody can access my application because my application is running in the EC2 machine, which is in the AWS cloud. Okay, guys. Yeah, now whatever I have discussed, same thing I have kept in the steps also. Okay, create AWS free tier account. Go to EC2 service and launch the EC2 instance. Choose AMI, Amazon Linux to AMI. Select the micro version. Add the storage. Click on add tags. Configure security group. By default, SH will be available. Add the custom TCP with the 9090 port number. You have taken a screenshot also for this step. Then review and launch. Download the new key pair. Give some name for the key pair. Click on the launch. Download the new key pair. Click on launch. Go to EC2 dashboard and see the instance running. Select that instance and see the public IP. Now, if you select your instance checkbox, it will display a public IP for you. Once you able to see the public IP, connect it to the Linux machine using putty software. Download the putty software. Once you downloaded the putty, open putty gen, convert the PEM file to PPK file using putty gen. Can I show you once again how to convert the PEM file to PPK file? Observe carefully. Go to putty gen. Not putty. You need to open a software called putty gen. Once you install the putty gen also will be installed. Open putty gen. This is the window for the putty gen. Here, file load private key, which you have downloaded. What is the file we have downloaded? PEM file we have downloaded. Select all files and select the PEM file. Once the PEM file is selected, it will decrypt that. Then click on save private key. Save the private key. For the private key, give some name with the .ppk extension. Click on save. With this, PEM file is converted to PPK file. That's it. You understand now how I have converted the PEM file to PPK file. Okay. Good. Someone is asking, sir, how to create a jar file for the Spring Boot application? How to create a jar file for the Spring Boot application? Very simple. Right click on your project. Right click on your project. Run as Maven build. Run as Maven build. You give a package, clean package. Clean package. Maven goal. Apply. Run. When you execute this clean package, it is going to delete all the data class file. It will compile once again. It will create the jar file for your project in the target folder. Jar file will be created for the project in the target folder. Maven package goal I am using to create the jar file. Maven package goal I am using to create the jar file. That jar file I am uploading to S3 bucket. Jar file I am uploading to S3 bucket. How many times I need to repeat? PEM file to PPK file. I have shown you 2 times. Build success. Refresh. Now my jar file is created. So you understand how to create a jar file. Right click on the project. Right click on the project. Run as Maven build. Execute the package goal. Execute the package goal. Then it is going to generate jar file for your Spring Boot application. Jar file for the Spring Boot application. That jar file we are uploading to S3 bucket. Once it is uploaded to S3 bucket, we are downloading that jar file into EC2. We are running the jar file. What is the command we are using to run the jar file? What is the command we are using to run the jar file? Java space -jar space jar file name. If you follow this document, you will get everything. I will upload these notes now. Creating the account, and I will give the document to create the account, how to launch EC2 machine, and how to connect it to EC2 by using putty, how to install the Java, how to check the Java version. Then this step is not required, guys. This step is not required. Yeah. Go to S3 bucket and create a new bucket. Enter the bucket name. Select the object ownership in the bucket. Uncheck the block all. Select the bucket name and upload the jar file. Make that bucket as a public access. Copy the URL of the jar. Fetch the jar file from S3 bucket to EC2 by using wget path of the jar. Once you have downloaded the jar, check the jar file is downloaded or not. Once the jar file is downloaded, you run the jar file by using this Java command. Once the jar file is started, then you can access your application by using this URL. Okay. Yeah, here I'm using S3 to upload the jar. Without S3 also you can upload by using WinSCP. That is a different story. Without using S3 also you can upload the jar file to EC2 by using WinSCP. That is a different story, guys. All those details I will explain in the AWS course. All those things I will explain in the AWS course. How to use EC2 and how to use putty and all those things I will explain in the AWS part. Okay. From tomorrow, the AWS course is getting started from 7 p.m. DevOps with AWS. DevOps with AWS course starting from tomorrow. If you are interested, you can join for this. Now you see, DevOps with AWS is starting from tomorrow at 7 p.m. IST, Zoom link available. In that DevOps with AWS, I'm going to explain the Linux first, then shell scripting, 20 plus services in the AWS we are going to learn, like EC2, S3, Elastic Beanstalk, RDS, Lightsail, CloudWatch, like that. There are so many services are there in the AWS. We are going to learn those services, and we are going to work on 5 real-time projects with the DevOps tools. And I will tell you how to prepare the resume with the DevOps and AWS, and we will provide the placement assistance also. A new batch starting from tomorrow at 7 p.m. IST for the DevOps with AWS. The sequence: first Linux, shell scripting, AWS, then DevOps. Now, and one more thing is Java real-time project batch starting from 23rd March at 9 a.m. 20 plus real-time tools we will learn, like Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, JMeter, SonarQube, Log4j, like that. 3 mini projects we'll discuss. 1 major project, completely live coding we are going to do, Agile development, resume building, interview guide, and placement assistance. The Spring Boot project we are going, that Java real-time project is completely full stack development. We will develop the projects by using Spring Boot, microservices with AWS deployments and Angular as a front end. A new project batch starting from 23rd March at 9 a.m. IST. DevOps batch starting from tomorrow only at 7 p.m. IST. The Zoom links are available in our website, and I have given the link in the chat also. You can register for the demo. You can register for the demo. Okay, all the details, course content, fees details, duration details, everything I will discuss in the demo session tomorrow. Everything I will discuss in the demo session tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow 7 p.m. demo is available for DevOps with AWS. You can attend 2 to 3 free demo sessions, then you can decide whether to join or not. And today's class notes, class video, class document, everything I will upload in our Telegram channel, guys. I'm going to upload everything in the Telegram channel. So Ashok IT Telegram channel, please join in that Telegram if you want to access the today's class notes and class video. The people who are watching from YouTube, thank you guys. Please subscribe to our channel for upcoming videos. Subscribe to our channel for upcoming videos. You guys also can join with us in the Telegram to get the today's workshop notes and video. Our Telegram channel username Ashok IT Official. Our channel URL Ashok IT Official. All right, guys. And if you like this workshop, so please write your review for our workshop, guys. If you like this, please write your review for our workshop. All right. Did you enjoy this workshop? I think 2.5 hours. I think we have taken 2.5 hours to tell you the basic introduction part for what is AWS, why we are going for cloud computing, what is EC2 and what is S3, and how to deploy our application to EC2 machine. EC2 machine. Okay, guys, do understand? It's a 2 hours workshop. I can't cover everything in the AWS. It's a 2 hours workshop, so I can't cover everything in the AWS. So I just covered the basic, how to deploy a project into AWS cloud. In the DevOps with AWS course, I will cover in detail about all the services in the AWS and the DevOps tool, how the real-time deployment will happen in the companies, how the real projects will be deployed to the production by using DevOps and AWS. I will discuss in that course. It is a 3 months course. So don't expect everything about the AWS in this 2 hours of time. 2 hours workshop to give you basic overview. What is cloud computing? Why companies are going for cloud computing? How a basic application will be deployed to cloud computing. I just want to show you that today. I think I have done my job. YouTube viewers, so if you want to access the class notes, join with us in the Telegram. Our Telegram username Ashok IT Official. @ Ashok IT